What's good, YouTube? So one of my first videos I made a while back, I showcased very briefly the M700 marksman rifle that was introduced. Brand new at the time. It was one of my first 256 drops when I was still gearing up to World Tier 5 and all of that, and I just thought it was amazing. So I did this quick little showcase of it. Oh, hang on. A Lannister always gathers his mats, so let's see if we can't clear this out real quick. I think that was that only guy there, maybe? No, there's a dude right here. Alright, let's gather up these tools real quick. So, someone recently asked the question, like, man, my M700 is not hitting that hard. I have a decent build. I don't know what's going on. So it reminded me, you know, I said I was going to do a follow-up vid because I was really looking forward to how this thing was going to do in World Tier 5 once I got some more gear. So I've gotten some more gear. We're in World Tier 5, and that follow-up video is just long overdue. So today we're going to take a look at that. Now, what we're running right now is my Alpha Bridge build, where I have 4 pieces of Alpha Bridge, and I run Savage Gloves and a Relentless backpack. And that was for when I was doing turret. I switched to Pulse because I've been doing a lot of underground, and that's just way more useful to me to know where those enemies are with all those directive turned on and stuff like that. So this backpack isn't really doing me a whole lot of good. But as you can see, the basic stats right here are 54, 55 firearms with 241,100,000 DPS, 377,100,000 stamina. I'm sorry, toughness with 6,200 toughness, and no one cares about electronics these days, so it's just these two right here. Looking into the chest, what we have is this Alpha Bridge chest that I'm running in my Alpha Bridge build. It is stamina based. I have armor and damage to elites. That's something I always go over in my videos, is we stack damage to elites and we stack armor shred as much as possible. And I think that might have a lot to do with how hard this hits. The thing is, I haven't tested it out with this build yet, so I'm assuming it's going to hit hard like my assault rifles do. I don't know. I have no idea. We're about to find out. I'm doing the build part of this vid first because that was something that was asked for, so I'm just giving you guys what you want here. As always, of course, you want ammo capacity on that chest in addition to armor, and I choose to stack damage to elites, and I go with stamina on this one. As far as its mods are concerned, we're looking at a firearms mod ×2 with critical hit chance. This one probably needs to be replaced. Haven't gotten around to that yet. I'm still min-maxing and tweaking this build because I don't have, you know, hours and hours and hours to play every day. You know, like some people are fortunate enough to have. I choose to spend my time doing other things, so because of that, it takes me longer to really min-max and tweak out a build. Moving right along to our mask. This recently was replaced. I was rocking a 229 Alpha Bridge mask for the longest time because it was just so pretty over here in the stats region. So what we're looking at with this one is this is a firearms item, and again with stacking damage to elites and stacking enemy armor damage. And as far as mods are concerned, this is a stamina mod with armor because this is your gold standard right here. As far as you know, what you want on a stamina mod, you want to stack that armor. Next up are the knee pads. This is a stamina item, as you can see here. We're stacking armor on top of that, and what we have here is enemy armor damage. Now, these aren't necessarily ideal because, you know, your minor attributes would probably be a little bit better. Increased kill XP is kind of meh on this. Burn resistance is pretty cool for those cleaners, especially at 30%, so that's pretty good. But really, I just got it because I'd have to roll this way and I would have my enemy armor damage that I want to stack. And we're going to go into the character pane here when we're done going over the gear and look at our total. So not to fret about that, Captain. Next up is the mods on this, and this is a stamina mod with armor. Again, the gold standard like we want. The stamina could be a little higher on this one. Again, I'm still chasing that perfect ideal mod setup. I'm going to buy some blueprints, maybe do some crafting, and see if we can't get that absolutely maxed out as high as it can possibly go. And then this performance mod, again, suited to when I was running turret. Don't run turret very much these days. Probably, we'll switch back to that when I start doing more solo stuff out in the world. When I go with the defense build that I'm obviously looking at building here. I don't know why I have Banshee's Shadow in my inventory right now, because right now I'm tinkering with defense and Deadeye builds. Next up, we have the holster. And on this holster, this is well-rounded. Again, who cares about electronics these days? I did re-roll firearms on this until I got it into the high 1200s, and that took quite some time, but money is fairly easy to make these days. So, if you have it, you can't take it with you. And the reason I was able to min-max that is because this one came with armor. So when I got a good Alpha Bridge holster, I definitely stuck with it. What we're looking at here is, again, another performance mod that is geared towards the turret. My little turret would put in some work with this build. It was just fantastic. Now, I just heard a shot. I might have to take care of some business. So let's go ahead and handle that real quick. And does this guy have any friends out and about? Yes, he does. Let's see how this elevated works. Actually, if we can't climb up here, then pop off a good headshot. Alright, and there's just those three assholes over there. Do they want some? I can't tell if they do. Well, I'm just sucking on that headshot. Making up for it right there. Now, where? There were three of them. That was only two, and I am not a math major, but I think that means there's one left. There he is. He came out to the party. And that was a neck shot. A complete miss.
You might as well give up now.
Cool. Now, it's a fortuitous time to be making this video because my weekly quest, as you can see in the lower left there, is headshot kills. Okay, so we almost one-shot that purple, which is pretty nice. Might have to switch to the Scar H because this is some up-close work. And I don't know if I just randomly wandered into like a world boss area or what the hell's going on. Oh man. That's another point I was going to get to with what do you choose in an Alpha Bridge build to complement that M700? And the answer to that question is a Scar H, because with that Scar H you can really handle some business up close. It's not anywhere near, of course, the rate of fire of an assault rifle, but man, is it going to close the deal a lot faster than those surgical hits. I definitely am not good enough at headshots to try and, pull those off surgically, in the clutch. But I think that with the Scar H, it's forgiving enough that I can just unload on these guys and manage to, mess them up enough to save my own life. So, at least that's the idea. I can be kind of sloppy with that, just tag them with body shots. And this guy can slice the pie on. Do a little hackery, cheatery, not really hackery at all, because obviously I'm not hacking. I'm just clever use of game mechanics, because that heavy's not going to move while I'm positioned here like his crony will. He's just going to stand there and get shot in the face. And this guy, I need to slice the pie on a little more wisely. Let's go ahead and heal up. This is an impromptu combat here, guys. This is why we want to record everything. We can drop this dude while we're at it. We can get a beat on this dude. Man, just terrible. Terrible at popping off headshots while I'm getting shot in the face. Go figure. Yeah, so I managed to wander into my first intel mission whilst going over my build. So, sorry about that. Let's maybe run down the way a little bit here and see if we can't get into maybe a little safer area. Find a safe space so that we can go over our build. How about up here? At least we'll be elevated so we can take advantage of that talent, huh? What do you say? And we'll just hide out right here. Okay. So, where was I before I had to handle some business? I was on the holster. And again, my little turret put in some work when I was running, or when I run turret with this build, because of how much extra turret damage and health I have thrown onto it through performance mods. I kind of think of performance mods as sort of a gravy kind of mod, so you can put whatever you want in there, which is one of the greatest things about this game, is the amount of versatility you have in terms of build. There's not just, you know, one meta that is the end-all be-all out in the world. You can really tweak it to your playstyle. It might be different in PvP, it probably is. I don't fuck with any of that because I don't hate myself. So going on to the gloves here, we're running Savage gloves to try and get that critical hit on targets when they're rushing you, and also when they're switching between cover and when they're coming out of their little doorways and all that kind of stuff. Great talent, still has been for the longest time. Pretty much since its debut, it's been really solid. Again, we are stacking damage to elites. We get a little health on kill, which is just kind of a bonus. And again, this is for my assault rifle alpha bridge build that I, always run. In all my other videos that I'm always running right now, I'm really loving it. I keep threatening to do Predator's Mark. I keep tinkering with defense and with Deadeye for marksman, but I always go back to that AR. It's just so much fun. So that's why I re-rolled this talent on that here. No mods on the gloves, of course. And finally, the backpack. We're looking at Relentless here. This again, and I think we might have gone over this already. If so, I apologize. I kind of forgot with that combat in the middle there. This was great for when I was running that turret. Really gave me a lot of healing, while the turret was tanking and just melting faces for me. It was really great. Add-on armor. Of course, you want ammo capacity. And as far as our mods are concerned, we're doing firearms with some health. This needs to be replaced, but it's good enough for now. Here's more turret damage. Here's more turret duration. Again, for the turret build that I typically was running when I put this build together. So that's what we're looking like as far as equipment is concerned, and the build of that equipment. What we're looking at here in our character screen is we have our firearms, which you can see, the stamina, toughness. We have the skill no one cares about anymore. We have our weapon damage. Our critical hit chance with this weapon is sitting at 5%, and that's fine. Our critical hit damage is sitting at 46%, which is probably a little high. We could dump a little more into crit hit chance, but right now I haven't changed the mods on this sniper rifle since that last video. It's the same mods, it's the same rifle, everything is the same. The only thing that's changed is my gear. Headshot damage being 215% is fantastic. Accuracy being 4% is great. Stability is kind of dismal. We could definitely benefit from some more stability, especially on the SCAR H. I haven't changed that out yet either. I do definitely have some mods I could throw on here, and I might do so, if we need to at the end for a compare contrast, that sort of thing. Reload speed, reload time, range, all that isn't necessarily factoring into this here. We're not focusing on the assault rifle right now. Marksman rifle, We don't really have anything special in this build that's contributing to that. So this is not a min-maxed marksman rifle build. So we need to bear that in mind when we see how this rifle does in combat versus some of those elites. Damage to elites is 25%, which is fantastic. Even without the assault rifle damage, our enemy armor damage is 35%, which means once we tack on the assault rifle, I'm just melting through people. And you can see that in action in my underground daily grind vids if that's something that you're interested in. One of the other things that I wanted to see here, if I can't remember, I think we've gone over all of that. Yeah, none of this really factors into things here. I'm gear score 253 right now because my secondary weapons are always 229. Now, the cool thing is I have another Scar H that dropped, and I'm looking, it has destructive and skilled and deadly, so I'm thinking of maybe rolling that away a little bit to see if I can't maybe use that as a backup, because as you can see, it's just you know, way better in terms of damage is concerned. So for a backup weapon, that would be fantastic. Not a huge priority for me right now. So without further ado, let's see how this thing does in combat. Here we're going to get the elevated bonus. That was another thing that we forgot to mention when we were going over this, just real quick, is the weapon talents from the Alpha Bridge build. So, in fact, the weapons at all. So actually, let's back up a little bit and look at that. This marksman rifle that is the same one from that first vid is 167% headshot damage. We're running 114k base damage on this. And its talents that we have. Balanced is actually fantastic on this. It allows me to pop up out of cover, snap off that first headshot. It's not the same balance that it was back in the day, of course, but I think it's really underrated these days because it allows you to stay in cover, pop out, snap off a quick headshot, and drop back into cover. And you keep doing that over and over again, and you're re-shouldering the weapon every single time, so the talent applies every single time you do that. It's fantastic. I don't know if you saw that in the first video or not, but it really shined through, you know, when I gave it a second watch. I noticed that, and it was really, really useful. Proficient is the talent. I'm rolling away on this. I really hate spending Phoenix credits on weapons because it's so expensive, and Phoenix credits take so long to get for a solo player that you have to blow like 500 of them on one chance to get like a non-shitty talent. I think that's something that's still broken in the game, and hopefully Massive addresses that here, that we should be able to choose, you know, maybe a pool of talents or something like that that we're rolling for, you know, or maybe we spend more Phoenix credits to narrow the pool or something like that. You know, you wager more, but you have a better chance of getting what you want, as opposed to you spend less, but your pool that you're rolling to pull from is, you know, bigger. Something like that. Anything, so that we don't have to spend credits after credits after credits after credits just trying to get a non-shitty talent. If you're gonna have so many shit talents in the game, they shouldn't really be, you know, shoved down our throats. That kind of sucks. Anyway, getting off message here. Elevated is the next talent that we're looking at here, and this is fantastic. We get 10% damage, you know, more than 1.2 meters above the target. So anytime you're up above on anything, you know, a school bus, up on the scaffolding like I am right now, it gives us a straight 10% bonus. It's fantastic. So what we're getting via Alpha Bridge from our Scar H is, of course, Brutal, which is a must for just about any weapon, has been since launch, is still fantastic today, but especially for a marksman rifle, you want that headshot damage increase. And next we have Prepared, which is great for a marksman rifle. I think, you know, maybe some of the better theory crafters out there would say, no, Prepared is garbage, you shouldn't be running that. You should roll that away on your secondary weapon for, you know, something else, like, you know, I don't know, deadly, whatever, who knows, maybe there's a better one for a marksman rifle. I saw this on that Scar H, and I thought that seems perfect. A flat 15% increase when you're further away from your target. That just seems fantastic. I could be wrong. And last but not least, destructive, because we're stacking armor melt and damage versus elites. That's just how I roll, because, you know, trash mobs just seem to drop so quickly and easily in this game anyways. You're always fighting purples and yellows. That's who you really care about. That's your bread and butter. And they always have armor. The quicker you can get through that armor, the quicker you can drop them, because once that armor is gone, it's curtains. Mods that we're running on this M700, we have an extended magazine with crit hit chance and rate of fire, which is great on a bolt action rifle, again, in my estimation. You know, this is all what I've learned over the game. I haven't read any guides or anything like that. This is just what I think is gonna give me the most benefit. Again, you know, I could be mistaken on this, and I'm open to criticism and friendly discussion about all that. So, you know, let me know what you think in the comments. What we're looking at next, and I don't know why it keeps resetting like that. I apologize for jumping around like that. Sorry, guys. What we're looking at next is our scope, and that is our plus headshot damage, crit hit damage, and accuracy. That could be a better item. Again, I just spec'd this out as best I could at the time. I have better mods right now that I could throw on here, but I'm trying to do kind of a fair comparison without, you know, tweaking it too much to make it look like, oh yeah, the M700 is just totally godly and all that kind of thing. I'm just trying to do a straight comparison of the rifle I had in the first vid to the same rifle that I have right now with the same, you know, configuration on it and so on. So that leads us to the muzzle device here, well, it's not really a muzzle device, but the device that goes on the muzzle, which is a Omega rifle suppressor, which gives us headshot damage and accuracy, which I think is great. Range and reduced threat are just kind of gravy on this thing here, although the range may factor in to, you know, our use of that talent. I already forget what it's called, that prepared, I guess, that gives us a bonus for when we're further away. Finally, we have our small grip on the underbarrel here, which gives us more crit hit damage, a little bit of bonus optimal range, a little bonus stability. That was the best underbarrel I had for this at the time. Again, I have way better ones right now that I could throw on there, but we're gonna leave it as is. Finally, and this doesn't really factor in anything except for cool factor, which is the ATAX winter skin, which I love on marksman rifles, especially super custom looking ones like this, because it reminds me of the rifle from Inception when they were in that winter world. And I guess Leo's character had that sniper rifle with all the, you know, it was all painted white and everything. It looked all badass. So if those guys are still wandering around down there, they are not. We could have seen how prepared worked. Or elevated, sorry. Maybe prepared if they were far away. That's a decent boss down there, so we're going to see how this rifle fares against them, and we're going to see what we get with prepared here. And you can see balanced in action here. When I pop out of cover, it's just, the reticle just closes so quickly that I am able to just snap off a headshot with very little effort. Now, of course, when I have to lead a target at this range, you know, I don't necessarily get that same effect. Now, this is where a turret would probably come in handy, but that's where balance came in handy as well right there. I got to shoot that guy before he could toss that grenade. Didn't really do a good job. There I was able to snap off a quick headshot again with balanced. Like I said, I think balanced is super underrated because I can just do stuff like that. Now granted, that was kind of a shoulder hit, but I really can't come out of cover too much versus these guys because they're really pinning me down with this light machine gun fire. You know, like heavies do. That's what they do. So that was headshot number 3. He's down to 1 bar of armor. Then he's down to what, about 75% right there. Then he's down to just a fraction, and I missed, and I missed again, and again. Okay, and he's down. So finally, I only have 1 heavy to deal with, and 1 looks like engineer maybe. So 2 shots dropped him down, about 20% armor. That so 3 headshots takes down all his armor. 1 to drop him to 30%, maybe 33%, and he ducks And then he's done. And let's see if we can't line this up nice and slick. Dunzo, son. Okay, so as you can see, the thing is still really powerful. You know, I was able to post up on this roof right here and just unashamedly take advantage of these guys. You know, this is in World Tier 5 right now, but granted, it's just intel missions. It's nothing like super special or anything. You know, it's not like I'm doing a challenging dungeon or anything like that. So, you know, I don't want to sound like this is anything uber lead or whatnot. We're just testing this out. Now, that said, those are level 34 elites. They're not named or anything. It's not like they're bosses, but they're not a slouch either. It's not like it's just trash mobs. So there's definitely something to be said for the performance of this rifle. We're going to go ahead and complete the mission and call it. So for some reason I have my Scar H equipped. Probably because it was so close up on these guys. As you can see, the Scar H is definitely not the beast that the M700 is, and it is also a 229 level item. So that's why I'm really giving the other one a hard look, because I really want a solid backup marksman rifle for when I have to get up close and personal with these assholes. Okay, we should be coming up on our quest area here. Now, unfortunately, I can't climb up over there. I do have some visibility issues because of this snowstorm, but so do they. Let's take out this shotgunner right off the bat, because those guys can still ruin your day, even at red. For example, that guy was just beasting up on me right there. You know, he was getting ready to run up and take a shot. Missed the headshot there. So follow-up headshot takes care of it. Pop right out of cover, drop that guy. So, like I said, balanced is just fantastic to have on a marksman rifle when you're going to be in and out of cover like that. It is just underrated and amazing. So we're going to run back to this safe house real quick, and we're going to go from there. Alright, well, here we are at the safe house. We're going to go ahead and hand this quest in. We're not going to hand the text in. I don't know what the fuck that even means. Okay, I think that's a pretty decent test of this here. We really showcased what this can do. The point I'm trying to make is my build and my gear and all of that right now is not even geared towards marksman play, and I am obviously not that much of a marksman at all. I luck into some headshots mostly, but for the most part, I'm just, trying my best to hit some headshots, and I get lucky every once and then. Someone who is good with headshots, someone who plays marksman type builds all the time and just snaps off those headshots as easily as the rest of us, breathe, eat lunch, and go into spiraling credit card debt, they could really put in some work with this here. The other thing is, if they ran a Deadeye build or something like that, a build that was focused around marksman damage in addition to their skills and just really complemented all that, they could just wreck people's lives left, right, and center out there in the division. So I really think that the M700 original verdict stands. This thing is a beast. You got to have a little bit of skill. You got to definitely spec for it to make up for that if you don't. And if you can combine skill and a spec for it, oh my god, you're going to be unstoppable. So I hope that answers some of your questions. If you have any other questions, if you want to see anything else, definitely let me know. I'm happy to create content that you guys want to see. And other than that, keep killing, and thanks for coming out.